It's time to talk about the best damn comic books you're going to be able to find anywhere in the world this week. Well, at least in American comic books. And here with me, as always, is my good friend Drew from Comics Elite out there in Indianapolis, Indiana. How you doing, Drew?
Doing all right. It's cold. It's nasty. Growing up in my winter fur. Yeah, let's talk some comics. We got to talk about something good.
Well, there ain't much to talk about good-wise for DC. I might have talked about the best comic they released in the Joker, and I didn't think that was that good. So we're going to be hitting the indies, and we're going to be hitting Marvel pretty heavy. The indies were where it was at this week. Let's do the first indie comic that we're going to recommend. This is from ABLAZE called Life Zero. Stefano, Vietti, and Marco Checchetto. A lot of people are going to recognize the name Marco Checchetto. Definitely one of the 2 or 3 best at Marvel, obviously working on Daredevil. Didn't know this was coming out. Didn't know to expect it. Saw Marco Cecchetto's name. Decided to take a gander since he's one of my favorite artists. And yeah, I mean, the story it's not the most involved story you're ever going to get. It's a military unit going in to extract somebody during a zombie apocalypse. But if that's your thing, then this is your comic.
You're absolutely correct. It's a story that by now people our age are very familiar with. But I can give stories like this a pass when you have great art, great pacing, great dialogue, suspense. They nailed this. This was a perfect zombie comic. And Marco Checchetto doing the art, absolutely. Take my money now.
There were a couple of things here and there, just maybe with some of the character designs. I don't know if it was Marco Cecchetto's fault. I don't believe that there's an officer in the military that's got a haircut like that woman. But I think that one dude had some like lines.
He's spec ops, He's spec ops. They can do whatever they want.
Maybe that's what it was. But it's pretty cool. You almost get like a Black Hawk Down moment in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, which certainly makes for some interesting storytelling. And definitely has a lot of potential there. So if you like really badass visuals, if you like zombie apocalypse action, I think Life Zero is probably a good bet that you're going to enjoy it. And it's nice to see Marco step outside of Marvel Comics and do something on his own. I think it's a win.
Yeah, it is a win. It's a win for us, And you really, I would say his Marvel stuff lately, like the last few issues of Daredevil, haven't been the best, in my opinion, from his art. And I could tell his art is damn good in this comic, compared to that.
Definitely check out Life Zero #1 from ABLAZE. Now you're going to Old Faithful at this point. I mean, we're just going to have to recommend every single one of these issues from Image Comics. Mark Millar, Matteo Scalera on King of Spies #3. It's a great concept, but you can ruin a good concept. Let's be honest about that one, Drew. But yes, they're delivering on the concept. It's Old Man Bond, and it kicks ass.
You are 100% correct. And this is a story that easily, by this issue now, it could have been ruined. By a single character, it could have been ruined. But it is so incredibly fast-paced, action-packed. The deaths are all unique, which is awesome. And there's one involving a men's urinal that I don't want to spoil. It's very interesting. But it's got me laughing. It's got me enjoying it. It's got everything you would want in a spy action thriller. And I hope we see Pierce Brosnan as Old Man Bond in this adaptation.
One of the other things I like about this is I am a Mark Millar fan, but he does go too far a lot of times for me, and I have to kind of ignore it. He's not doing that here. I feel like he's staying within the confines of the genre and story that he's trying to tell, where he's not distracting me by going so far over the edge with something to where it kind of takes me out of the story. Yeah, he's going to the edge. He's doing some gnarly stuff in there, and the art is definitely graphic, but it's all within the confines of a really high-paced, high-octane action thriller spy comic.
Yeah, you're correct. Mark is known for going over the edge, like a Rob Zombie, in comics, but he knows where the restraint is now. Like the opening of this, one of the deaths involving a religious figure, he definitely could have gone over the edge with that, but he didn't. He practiced restraint with it and made it a more interesting and unique death for this character, and thought that was great. It shows how much of an experienced writer he is.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. I really do like Mark Millar as a creator. I think he's wildly inventive. I think he knows who his audience are, and I do think having a little bit of restraint, pulling it in a list a little bit more, probably helps everything out in the end. Now we do have one more indie comic book. I haven't read this one. I haven't actually even been touching this one, but you are enjoying No One Left to Fight #2, or I guess it's season 2, issue #5 from Dark Horse, Aurey, Sitterson, and Fico, Ossio. Aurey Sitterson was much maligned, obviously, with his runs on G.I. Joe, but it feels like he's kind of turned it around. I think a lot of people feel completely different about him today than they did 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think not many people probably really do remember all the stuff, all the G.I. Joe shenanigans. It's like we're probably well beyond that now. But the elevator pitch for this series is effectively, what if Goku from Dragon Ball Z comes back after his last battle and there is no one left to fight? What has happened to everyone in his life since then? They've all moved on from him. But in this issue, it is a full-blown elevator pitch, Goku versus Vegeta. This is what that final fight would be like. And it is so colorful, so beautiful, so action-packed. It is an amazing issue, and Aubrey Sitterson has a true hit right here with no one left to fight.
Sounds like everybody should be reading that one from Dark Horse. Now let's move over to Marvel. We're going to throw an extra Marvel recommendation in this week because I don't see us recommending anything DC. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we got no DC in this week, because of the snowstorm. And yeah, so it was like, yeah. And after the fact, I start reading, I'm like, I can't recommend. I got to tell Wes, I can't recommend any of these. Thankfully, we're on the same train.
This is just there's a poor effort from DC this week, but Marvel came through. I've been looking for this comic book for quite some time. I've really loved this Maestro series. Obviously, we're in the third part of the trilogy. Peter David is kicking ass and taking names. We got Armand Peralta and Pasqual Ferry on the art. This is Maestro World War M #1. It's got some setup to it. Got a lot of really cool action, but we do get to see the return of Abomination. We get to see Namor. There's like so many big characters, and they're all kind of lining up to work with each other. Even got a little idea of what Dr. Doom's doing to go and fight Maestro, this super intelligent version of Hulk that's still around in the apocalypse. God bless Peter David, because every time he does one of these series, he knocks it out of the park. This is fantastic.
He knows his fans. He knows who's reading this, and he knows how to write a fun comic. This series, Maestro, Symbiote Spider-Man, his stuff on X-Men Legends, it's just fun, just straight up fun. And this issue is, like you said, it's action-packed, great dialogue, return of a long-lost character, not going to spoil who it is. And other characters were wondering what would have happened to them in the World War M world. I want to see where this goes next, and I hope they really just keep this going. It's too much fun, in my opinion. Shouldn't be having this much fun.
If you're fed up with the current state of Marvel and their continuity, and you're holding on by a thread, you're like, I don't want to give up Marvel, but they're kind of testing my patience. Go check out this Maestro series. This is the third part. This would have been issue number 11 so far. This might be the alternative that you need to just kind of give up on Marvel altogether. And Symbiote Spider-Man, and obviously the Gambit series that we have coming up. We got the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. These throwback issues or story arcs from 30 years ago have been phenomenal. And I think Maestro is the best one. And I don't even know that it's all that close. And I've enjoyed the other ones. It just feels so far and above.
Yeah, this and Symbiote Spider-Man. Symbiote Spider-Man is kind of close. I didn't really care for the King in Black tie-in when they did. But yeah, Maestro then Symbiote Spider-Man for me are like the top two. And Peter David, once again, he's writing circles around these guys at Marvel right now. He's showing them how it's done. And it's a shame that it's good and bad that he's doing these books. It's great that he's writing, but he really needs. I wish he would go into the main continuity and set everything straight. To show these guys how it's done.
I think the reason it works so well in Maestro is this is a character and a concept we know of, but wildly underexplored. Whereas we did have a time with Spider-Man in the symbiote costume. Wasn't a long time, but we certainly had adventures in there. This Maestro thing was just kind of sitting there waiting to be explored and waiting to be touched. And I think it's really worked out well for him. And like I said, it is a godsend for me. It's a nice it's my own little no place away from Marvel Comics continuity and some of their mistakes right now.
Yep.
One place they aren't making a mistake, and they're absolutely destroying it, is with this Moon Knight series. Never have I seen a character that's about to come into the MCU. Marvel decides to roll out the red carpet with a new series, and they just nailed it. Moon Knight #8, Jed McKay, Allesandro Cappuccio, who has just as much, if not even more, of a factor in this being great as Jed McKay. There's some stuff going on in Devil's Reign. this is supposed to be a tie-in. It says in the cover, but it doesn't really tie in. That's the only thing I have against this comic.
Yes, that is the one big strike against this, because they even say it in a panel. Read Devil's Reign Moon Knight to see what happened to Mark Spector. It's like, wait a minute. I'm reading all this stuff. I don't remember this. Oh yeah, because it doesn't come out until next month. So it really just shows you that, okay, the editorial staff really, I think, does not know what they're doing, does not know the release dates of these books, and they're going to think we don't notice.
Yeah, so the things are being kind of pushed around, but this is still a cool story. You know, Hunter's Moon has taken over as Moon Knight in Devil's Raid, but we kind of get the spoiler here that it might not be forever, right?
Yeah, it might not be forever, which is fine. It's good. You know, that's how it really should be. And, you know, we get a return of a long lost 80s character we haven't seen in a long time. And it's a good story, you know, seeing gods against gods. You know, I love this. I love this stuff. It was a lot of fun.
If you're a Marvel fan and you want to get ready for this Moon Knight, now we finally saw some pictures of Oscar Isaac as Mr. Spectre.
Mr. Knight, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Knight. I think you should check this out. It's a good place, and I hope that there's a little bit of continuity between the two, because this is a fantastic take on the character.
Yeah, absolutely. All readers should enjoy this. Read this, and I'm going to suggest read the Charlie Houston, David Finch, Moon Knight, The Bottom. Came out about 15, maybe 20 years ago at this point. Really damn good.
Now, this last one, this is your recommendation. I actually haven't read this one. I'm not dipping my toes in the Avengers pond very often, unless I know it's something I absolutely need to read. I applaud you, Drew, coming on the channel here and recommending to the viewers that they read a Jason Aaron comic. Avengers 53?
Yeah, I'm going to recommend this because normally, I'm not going to recommend a Jason Aaron book, because at this point, he's not quite Tom King level of bad, but he crosses the line sometimes.
He's working his way there.
Yes, he is. He's getting there. But this was a fun read. It's a full-on assault of the Avengers celestial base. And the best part, what makes this worth this, is that we literally see Valkyrie get knocked off her high horse, literally and figuratively, and she gets reverted to a state that I never thought Jason Aaron would do. And it feels so damn good when you see it. It's like, yes, this character deserved it. It's awesome. Perfect. Can't believe he actually did this.
I'm reading the 10 Deaths of Wolverine #2, and Jane Foster Valkyrie is in that book. It comes out this week.
Yeah.
There's a real got to pick and choose your battles at Marvel, pick your spots to go in there and read those comic books. But there's a real lack of cohesion. There's a real lack of consequences throughout the line where something happens, it really matters because it happened here. But over here, they won't even acknowledge it. That's a problem.
It's a lot like DC too. You know, what's going on with Superman here may not be same thing in this other book too. Like they're
going to kill the Justice League off, but they're all still going to have solo titles.
Yep, exactly. Don't want to read it? Don't read it. Fine. It's like, no, it shouldn't be that way. Everything should be cohesive. Yet there's no cohesion at all.
One of the biggest drawing points of a shared universe is that these, the consequences are shared.
Yeah, the ramifications.
See it here,
another.
Yeah. It ripples through the titles. So that's not great. But hey, if you want to see Jane Foster knocked off her metaphorical and potentially just real high horse,
yes,
might be a comic book worth checking out.
Absolutely, it feels damn good seeing it.
But as we mentioned a couple times, DC was just buttholes this week. There's nothing really worth recommending. I read the best DC comic, and it was The Joker. I reviewed it in full, and I had a hard time giving it a mild recommendation. It was nothing to really be proud of, but there was definitely some good indie comics. Life Zero from ABLAZE, King of Spies #3 from Image Comics, No One Left to Fight 2 from Dark Horse, as well as Marvel's Maestro World War Ebb, Moon Knight, and you're gonna have to look. You're gonna have to go with Drew if you want to check out Avengers, because I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, if you consider Jane Foster an unbearable character now, you're going to enjoy Avengers. Trust me. So Jimmy might not.
If you want to see just how bad it's gotten at DC Comics, you got to watch this video: Harley Quinn Eat Bang Kill Tour from T. Franklin. It is so bad. The details are so awful. I don't want to spoil them here, but you won't believe your eyes. If you haven't seen this, check it out.